Back at the 2019 Xbox E3 briefing, we got our first look at the return of Battletoads, the infamous game that was way too hard from Rare. Well, the original game was from Rare. In the reveal trailer, they didn't say who was actually making this game because brand loyalty and IP are more important than details. While a few were put off by the cartoon presentation, I thought it looked pretty slick. But that all didn't matter because the trailer was light on gameplay and there was no date attached. Not even so much as a year. This explains the pure confusion when the release date for the game was announced 3 weeks before it came out. Like, that's not even enough time to announce this first-party game. But here we are, back at it again, looking at what is going on with this Metacritic score. Some critics are hailing this as a great playable children's show with unique ideas. Others have marked it as a grading slog that only kids 10 and below would find funny. I'm extremely leaning towards the latter, because in a year where Streets of Rage 4 has reaffirmed what the genre deserves to be, in the year of our Lord 2020, Battletoads croaks in comparison. I mean, let's just look at its own description. Over-the-top combat with combos and hard-hitting morph attacks. This is obviously talking about the beat-em-up part of the game, because there is no other section that has combos and morph attacks. So then why is the main selling point such a small part of the game? Because the next line talks about how there was a variety to the gameplay. Battletoads decided they wanted to pull a Deadpool. Yes, I know Nier Automata did a similar thing, but Deadpool did it first, and it's in the same vein as it's done here, where there is a 2D platforming section, a shmup, and those hover cart sections. The beat 'em up part is not even that difficult, unlike instances of those other parts, so you spend the least amount of time beating up bad guys and more time hopping around like an idiot. A naive person could vouch for the humor that does not work.
Looks like the Queen is hiding in an abandoned theme park.
Be careful. It's been years since our last tetanus shot.
But advocating for a game that bills itself as a beat 'em up that really only has 3 sections of it is wrong. This conversation could have been different if Battletoads was upfront about its experience, but the inclusion and over-reliance on all the other modes breaks up the pacing, and none of it's good enough to stand on its own. The controls in each section are either slippery, too taut, or slow. It's like a bunch of mediocre playstyles were taped together by a story. My frustration with the game reached its peak when I got to the final hoverbike section. There is no clue as to how to beat it, and it becomes especially difficult if you are playing with another person. You basically have to avoid being killed for an undetermined amount of time. Your score doesn't matter. So if you're playing with someone that is good at these sections and can hold their own, while their teammates keep dying, this part of the game could conceivably go on forever. Each time a teammate dies, they reset the invisible timer, and it essentially becomes one of those mobile endless runners. The teammates would have to drop out and allow a single person to complete the section, being able to be completed in 2 minutes at that point. My final major gripe with the game is the fact that you can only play this in local co-op. There is no reason for a multiplayer game not to have some form of online play, especially for being a first-party title. I understand how hard it can be to implement network connectivity into games for devs, but if Streets of Rage can do it, so can you. Even if the network play was cut down, where only 2 people could play online, that would have been better than nothing. I feel like most people who are defending the game are either Xbox fans or people who have not played Streets of Rage 4. I keep bringing it up because it's so fantastic. So many characters, so many unlockable characters, each level having a boss at the end, and there being a real difference to how each character plays. Everything about it is refined, honed, and extremely fun. I didn't go into Battletoads wanting to hate it. I thought it was going to be another fun beat 'em up this year. Instead, most of its time is dedicated to the throwaway sections that make up the majority of the playtime, intercut by weird minigames that seem to come out of nowhere, and it really ruined my night. Not as much as Halo Combat Evolved, but that's a different video.
Suck my frigging butt, you backstabbing punks! Chug my dump truck, you stinky wimps! Beep, beep, garbage butt backing up! I hate the Battletoads.
Arbaltoes, the Totalos?
Oh, the things we're looking for. The Brutables.
Bartle Bears?
The Tattletoes.
The Beetlebugs?
Fire Bats. The Jitsu Bats.
Battle Bees?
That's it.
That's it, Battle Bees.
The Battle Bees.
The Battletoads.